What's up, Fanboy Nation? My name is Angelo, and we're here at Animex Expo 2017. Here to check out the Indivisible game, here produced and published by Lab Zero and 505 Games. I'm here with Earl. Earl, can you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the game and the company?
Sure. What's up? I'm Earl. I'm a designer over at Lab Zero Games. I do a lot of monster implementation and kind of overall design stuff under lead designer Mike Zamont. The game is kind of a hybrid RPG platforming style, largely inspired by like Metroidvania style games, and with the battle system inspired by Valkyrie Profile, but with some kind of modern updates and little updated sensibilities.
So I played a little bit of the game. So the main character, her name is Ajna, correct? Yes. And she has some mysterious powers. Can you tell her a little bit about her backstory?
Sure. I'll try to do so without getting too spoilery.
Without revealing the story.
Let me tiptoe around it a little bit. So, she's got kind of a mysterious past, and as she progresses through the world, she finds that she has the power to absorb certain people in the world, and as she comes up against new challenges, she'll kind of start to understand the nature of that ability, and you know, she'll go through a bunch of different kind of worlds and areas of the world where she's confronted with a lot of challenges, where she really has to have a lot of introspection and kind of grow from that. And the idea is that as you do that and you obtain more abilities to traverse the actual platforming world and level up your abilities in battle, it'll kind of be sort of analogous to her growth and her inner realm, so to speak. We have an area in the game called the Inner Realm, which is inside of her. So as that grows, it's all kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Not analogy, not euphemism, metaphor is close. Anyway, we'll skip over it. Anyway, that kind of vibe.
Gotcha. So in terms of looking at the influence of the game, it looks like there is possibly a South American or probably an Indian influence to the game. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Sure.
So the core inspiration is a lot of, and maybe some other team members could speak a little bit more versedly than I might, but a lot of the core inspiration is from a lot of Southeast Asian cultures and those kind of legends and myths and religions from those areas. There are going to be other areas of the world that are drawn from either more Western or more Eastern or more South American kind of influences, but that's also part of the appeal. Is meant for Ajna to really experience her beliefs in contrast to others, and how, you know, there's not every problem has a single obvious solution, and it takes a lot of like kind of introspection and reflection to be able to overcome those trials.
So I was able to play a game a little bit before the crowd got a little bit too busy.
How'd you like it?
It's great. I really love how it goes so smooth right into the action scene, especially if you just start sliding into them and you can start attacking. Now obviously there's going to be places to explore. You really have to pay attention how to get to them or slide into them. So are there any, if you miss a place, would it affect the rest of your gaming?
We definitely won't have any like 100% missable stuff. Okay. You will always be able to go back and get a thing. Because all of us on the team hate games where, well, I wouldn't say all, but a lot of us strongly have very strong negative feelings about when you're in an RPG and you miss a thing and you can never go back to get it, and it's like, it like influences how good you can get in the game or something like that. We won't have any like one single chance thing to get, but part of the goal for the game is to be able to go back to areas and kind of the kind of backtracking element that you see in a lot of Metroidvania games, so that, you know, you can revisit areas and they'll, you know, some of the monsters will be stronger, or you'll be able to find new secrets using the abilities that you've been able to acquire over the course of the game. That kind of thing.
So this is obviously how the game looks is completely different to compare a lot of the newer games right now with the graphics and everything. Why did you guys decide to go with the old school Metroid style gameplay?
So we've always, a lot of people on the team really love that style of game. And do you mean from an like a design, like gameplay style standpoint, or do you mean like just the art style?
I would say the art style.
The art style. Okay. So our core. Our bread and butter essentially is 2D animation, like traditional hand-drawn 2D animation. We still do it. We don't use like cells or anything, but you know, all the animators are traditionally trained in you know, the hand animation and that's kind of our bread and butter. And you've seen that in our previous title, like Skullgirls. There are a couple of updates in the style and kind of making Indivisible its own thing, separate from Skullgirls. You can see in Skullgirls all the line art is very stark black, and in Indivisible all the line art is colored, so it's got kind of a Disney or a Ghibli feeling to it. It's a little bit softer. But as far as I guess keeping the ball rolling on the whole 2D crowd, we kind of pride ourselves in being one of the few companies that are still doing it in the traditional like hand-drawn animation style. Yeah. I mean, when we were doing Skullgirls too, we were still kind of like waving the 2D hand-animated flag. Which isn't to say that some other methods like Guilty Gear Xrd or something aren't beautiful. Those are still great, but this is kind of our jam.
Just a preferable style of gaming.
Yeah.
All right. So last question of the day. So I don't know if you noticed. So the price for Animex Expo has kind of gone up a little bit this year. So how has Lab Zero and 505 Gaming tried to step up their game in terms of trying to attract the fans, the crowd, to come to your booth?
We've always tried to maintain a really open and approachable kind of relationship with our community, so that people can come up and just hang out and talk to us for as long as they want. We've had people hang out for like the whole show a couple times, like at the year, just hanging out, playing with the devs, playing Skullgirls, or testing out the new version of the game, Indivisible. And just we've got a bigger booth this year, and it's very open. People can approach and just chat with us, and we try to be really open and accessible as a developer, because I think what a lot of gamers want these days is to be able to know that the developers are listening, and they having a presence here and being approachable and not feeling too like cold, I guess, as a booth. Yeah, it kind of lends itself to people being a little bit more, a little less shy to come up and talk to you. So.
Not just say, oh, come here and then get out after you looked at it.
Yeah, here, get some swag and leave. Like, come and hang out, try out our game, ask some questions. We'll rap with you for a little while and have a good time.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time and excited for the game to come out.
Awesome. Thanks.
Speaking of which, when does it come out again, so you could tell our fans?
Current window is fall 2018.
Fall 2018. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.